in 18th place. So that's the answer to that question.
Just underlines, doesn't it, when we say that a small mistake in racing can lose you so many places, a small mistake at the start can do you no favours either. From way up at the front to 18th.
He did start slightly ahead, didn't he? And that was the race where they both had a warning on the start, wasn't
They'd had the warning at the start, so they were on the driving standards at the start, and in a sense...
being watched even more, weren't they?
Yeah. Well, just beyond the top 20, let's tell you the top 30. Lorenzo van Riet and Thomas Preining are row 11. Ed Tansley and Jan-Erik Majkup row 12. Mihails Badovskis and Theodor Morin row 13. Martin Sesks and Maxim Stotland row 14. And the top 30 completed by Lars van Vark and Patrick Hanna. Just behind those two, Denise de Roy, the lady from Holland, looking for a boyfriend, but he's got to be fast, lines up with Omar Ismail and Alessandra Stora completing the grid. This will be a 7-lap race for groups A and C in juniors here at Karting Genk. You're either here with us at Karting Genk or you're tuned in online to RGMMC Media. RGMMC TV fully launched, and myself, Chris Hartley and Tiff Chittenden doing the hosting for you, calling the race from the box, giving you the infill that we hope is helpful, and Tiffany Chittenden digging out those little issues down in the paddock and at trackside, trying to get you the stories that we are not 100% certain of here in the box, telling you why such and such a driver had an issue and what's been done about it. Hope that this is all helping you. Hope it adds to your enjoyment. So we move into the final phase of the day, our third burst of racing, and Chris will talk you through the approach to race 17.
Yeah, on the second of 2 formation laps now. This is race 17, a 7-lap race for the juniors, groups A and C. Juniors follow this as well for race 18. Then we move on to 2 races for seniors, and we'll end the day with 2 races for DD2. Josh Price then, the pink helmet leading them round. There you go, on screen if you're watching on RGMMC TV. And just starting to back them all up into each other now, ready for the rolling start to make sure they're all in a 2x2 formation. Guan Yu Zhu, the green and white race at the Tony Kart colours. If you're looking on screen to the right of your picture there, the officials, the marshals, making sure that the drivers understand they now need to start bunching up nicely on this run down towards the penultimate corner, down towards, well, turn 9, 2 corners after that, the left-hander and then the final right-hander. And it looks pretty good so far, but we've seen a few times today that the carts have been bunched up well at this point, but they're a bit too keen to get on the throttles coming out of the last corner, and that's where it spreads out again. So keeping their eye on this. As I say, a tight timetable, so nobody can afford for everybody to be running round and round for 3 or 4 formation laps. Just behind Josh Price, Jack McCarthy, he's gone well today. The blue helmet, the orange, luminous orange and black go-kart, and Connor Hall also going really well, and reporting that it is definitely colder out there today than it was yesterday, despite the fact we haven't got any snow this time around. Berke Bezlet, the Turkish driver, and Jack Bartholomew on row 3 complete the top 6 as they round the final turn then. Officials' eyes upon them now. Looks good so far in terms of the lineup. Josh Price will look and stare at the lights now. They're red. They go out. The race gets underway first time, and it's a good start for Josh Price with Jack McCarthy tucking in behind it for second place. Few off already at the first turn, and that causes a chain reaction further back behind, and a challenge for the lead here almost up front. Connor Hall with a decent start as well, and you got Guan Yu Zhu in the mix, but neither of them able to find a way past and into the lead of the race. Meanwhile, at turn 1, we've still got 2 or 3 karts trying to put themselves back in order now, but Josh Price leading the way. Guan Yu Zhu, I think it is in second place then, hanging on to that position, leading the rest of the field through. So perfect start that from Josh Price. He was never really under too much threat going into that first corner, and he made the inside line count. And he's got the Guan Yu Zhu kart behind him in second place, running now down towards turn 9. I'll come past in front of the commentary box now. Just behind in third place with a good start is Berke Bezlet. He runs in third position. There you can see a spinner. We can't see it from the commentary box, but we can see it on the TV pictures. A spinner just through turn 9. Head down for the race leader at the end of lap number 1. 77, I think, is just having a slow run. That's Max Timmerman, so maybe he was the kart that spun. You can see a couple of karts littered on the grass around the circuit as well.
Max Timmerman's confirmation that he was there with Budzkovic, who's had his second bad race or second misfortune, as has Denise de Roy. They're going to struggle to qualify from 2 disasters in 3 races, Chris.
Tiff spoke to Max Aitken earlier on. He said he's feeling a bit better about life today. The kart was definitely a lot more to his liking than it was yesterday, and he's made a decent start to the race. He's gained 6 spots already, I think, up to just on the fringes of the top 10 now with the bright green helmet. He's running something like 13th or 14th coming on to this lap, and the race leader Josh Price about to come towards the conclusion of lap number 2 with a nice big lead, as you'll see when he comes into the next camera shot. There he is on the way into the final turn, and he's got something like even a 3/4 of a second lead over the new second place kart now, which goes through, and it's Jay Nijar. He's gone from 4th to 2nd on that lap. A bit of contact further back. That was Connor Hall getting a whack, I think, and has dropped down to 5th place as a result of that, and survives, but lost quite a bit of momentum there.
And Chris, a driving standard flag goes in. Dennis Tice of Holland picking up a warning flag. Driving standards to Dennis Tice in kart 38. He's running in 5th place, but has incurred the displeasure of the officials.
Yeah, he was the one who went into the back of Connor Hall, I think, and gave him a fair old jolt. So that was the reason for the warning. Well spotted by the officials. It was fairly obvious, though, by the way that Connor was jolted away from that. Josh Price, not for the first time today, has just got on with it in the first few laps and has looked, pretty comfortable, pretty untouchable at the sharp end of the field. Jay Nijar going well. Guan Yu hanging on to him in 3rd place. Guan needs a good result now, having had that 10-second penalty in the previous race, which bumped him from 3rd down to 18th place. Yellow flags at the final turn as well, because we've had one off a bit further back down the order. Is it Hamprecht that's dropping down? I think it's Hamprecht that has dropped about 10 places as a result of that. So 1.3 seconds.
Gone down to 18th place from, I think it was 6th, wasn't it? So a lot of places shipped by the young German.
Right, Nijar and Zhu going on to the back straight. Those two fairly close, but we've seen today that Guan Yu is using his brains pretty well here. He's not risking anything. If somebody gets alongside him, he's not really over-defending, and he's not throwing in any silly moves. He doesn't need to do that sort of thing yet. However, you might want to beware, because he's got Hall and then Christensen 4th and 5th, and Dennis Tietz as well is coming in to the mix in 6th position. The fastest lap to Hamprecht, actually, on that second lap of the race.
Well, Chris, I did mention just before the race that I was talking to Omar Ismail's father, and he was saying, my boy had a disaster in qualifying. He has to start right at the back. That's a shame, because he's better than that. Well, he's driven from 34th on the grid up to 17th place in these 4 laps. So Osmar Ismail only racing 13 months in his first international series, giving a reasonable account of himself in 17th place. Just looking below, and yes, Jill spotted the move.
Yeah, Zhu's gone second, hasn't he?
Yeah, Joe goes past Jay Nijar. I was just going to mention that we can't help Thomas Preining out of this little slump that he's in, can we? We're trying to talk him into the sort of form that we know he's capable of, but he doesn't make the top 10 at the moment after 4 laps, nor does Max Aitken. It's a little bit uphill for both of them. We're heading to the half race distance as Josh Price leads them round to the end of lap 5.
Yeah, Connor Hall up to 3rd place now with a good move, so he's coming onto the tail of Guan Yu. Dennis Tice is in 4th place. Could be a change for 2nd here. Look at them running into turn 1 side by side. Connor Hall with the orange helmet down the inside and into 2nd place ahead of Guan Yu. Josh Price will be loving all of this because they're not able to catch him up, just folding each other up a little bit. But to be fair, I think anyway he's got the pace to be able to just edge away from them. He's 57 4s. They're in the 57 6s at the moment in that second group of karts, 2nd, 3rd and 4th, and then everybody else wants to be in 5th place at the moment. Christensen and Nijar down to 6th position now.
Jack Bartholomew only in 9th place, but sets the fastest lap at 56.9. So in theory, kart number 40, Jack Bartholomew, is on a charge. He's driven up from 11th to 9th at the half race distance.
Preining and Aitken, the two that are trying to come up the order. They're 12th and 13th at the moment. Numbers 12 and 5, the Austrian and then the British driver. So we're about to complete the 6th lap, which means we're on to the final lap of the race. Josh Price with a handsome margin of something like 1.5 seconds now. Hall having got up to 2nd place on the previous lap. Then Zhu, then Dennis Tice coming at them now. He looks really quick, actually. 56.9. He's quicker than everybody in front of him, Dennis Tice. So watch out for the driver in kart 38. They're in 4th place with the blue race suit. He is flying on this final lap of the race. Lap and a half. He's been going really quickly. And he might just have time to do something about breaking into the top 3. And maybe he is one driver that could do with, picking up the odd extra point here and there. He's had 1 or 2
But he's got to do
runs.
it carefully, Chris,
Yes.
because it's on a driving standards flag.
That's true, yes. He's been watched, isn't he? Right, 3 corners to go for them. Here they come then. Josh Price. Well, he's having it fairly much his own way, isn't he, most of the time today? But he looks good. He's got great pace here. From yesterday, we know that. And he's translating that into dominant race victories more than one occasion. He's going to take the checkered flag. Josh Price wins once again. 2nd place goes to Connor Hall. 3rd to Guan Yu Zhu. This time he should keep the 3rd as well rather than getting demoted with a penalty. Dennis Tice is 4th. And then in 5th place, the 46 card of Matthias Christensen from the 5th row of the grid. That was a decent drive. Berke Bessler, good effort in 6th place. Jack Bartholomew coming home in 7th. And then in 8th place, we had Jack McCarthy. 9th place, Thomas Preining, who picked up 3 or 4 places in the last 2 laps. And Ed Tansley rounding out the top 10. Jane Ajar, that's unfortunate for him. He looked really good in the first few laps, but he ends up down in 11th place.
Those of you that are eagle-eyed, you may well have spotted that as well as the checkered flag at the end of the race, there was a warning flag. Well, from the commentary box, we've talked him into the attention of everybody because that went to Omar Ismail. Omar Ismail, who started in 32nd place, finished in 16th place, but picked up a driving standards flag right on the last lap. Well, keep your nose clean, Omar, in the rest of the race and it won't matter. But well done to Josh Price. I won't ever say it's easy because you've got to get out there and do it. But nevertheless, Josh doing it a little bit more easily than some of the race victories today. Connor Hall in kart number 22 gave good value for his drive. And Guan Yu Zhou, one of the things that Chris and myself said at the top of the day was that Guan Yu Zhou is pretty much at the front in the action in the recent months that we've seen him. That goes back to the Winter Cup, it goes back to the Rotax World Challenge Grand Finals and the tail end of Rotax Euro Challenge in 2012. Well, he's still pretty much to the fore, coming home in 3rd place. Hope you enjoyed that one. We go junior racing again in a moment with the final junior outing of the day, Groups B and D, coming up next.
Yeah, next race of the day due to get underway. Race 18 at 16:40. There's the results on screen on RGMMC TV for the second half of the field. And again, only 2 or 3 not making the finish, which is good to see. Most of them coming home. Mikhail Budovskis, Denis de Rouge and Patrick Hanna, the 3 non-finishers there at the foot of your screen, with 33 karts having taken the starts of the race. Philip Hampret is at the fastest lap of the race. For Paul Carr Racing, the British squad's German driver, only coming home in 18th place. So clearly with some pace, but unfortunately not getting the result that time out. Theodor Moran, his teammate, down in 29th place as well, the Swede.